learners! Welcome to Eureka Math. This is Module 1, Lesson 9, and today we are adding decimals using place value strategies and relate those strategies to a written method. So what we're just doing today is we're just going to add decimals, and we're going to try some different ways to do that. The standard way of adding decimals is just like regular adding, okay? So if I have 316 plus 410, I'm just going to add them the regular way. I'm going to line them up and I'm going to add the columns. So in the ones place, I have 6. In the tens place, I have 2. In the hundreds place, I have 7. My answer is 726. Now, let's pretend that we're moving these over, or actually what we could easily do is we could divide this by 10 squared, right? That's a review. And our new answer would be 3 16 hundredths and 4 1/10, or 4 10 hundredths, okay? And if I wanted to add those together, I would do it exactly the same way, except this time I would add the hundredths with 6, add the tenths with 2, and add the ones with 7. Okay, and my new answer is 7 26 hundredths. Okay, so adding decimals isn't any different than adding whole numbers. The one thing that we always have to pay attention to is where is the decimal and to line it up. But we're going to use some other strategies too. We're going to use some place value strategies, and we're going to use some written method stuff. So when I talk about unit form, we're going to be using a lot of unit form today, and that is things like 3 tens, 2 ones, and wait a minute, 1 1, 1 1, and 6 tenths. Right, that's the same number as I've already written right here. It's 3, no it's not, sorry, I moved it around. It's 31, 31 and 6 tenths, okay? I just moved those around. 31 and 6 tenths, so there I went 316, there was 3 16 tenths, and here's 31 and 6 tenths. 3 tens, 1 1 and 6 tenths. So this is unit form. So we're going to use a lot of unit form, and we're going to use that to figure out how to add decimals maybe in an easier way for some of you. So let's go to the problem set and write your name on it. Number 1, it says solve and then write the sum in standard form. Okay, so everything here is in unit form. Okay, this is all unit form. We've been practicing this, so here's my unit form. And in the end, in the last space, it wants standard form. So we're going to go from unit form to standard form. So let's do the first one. 1/10 plus 2 tenths equals 3 tenths, right? 1/10 plus 2 tenths equals 3 tenths. That was easy. Now they want me to write that in standard form. So 3 tenths in standard form looks like this. And if you need your place value chart, you can always make one, or get one out of your book, or whatever you need to do. Okay, there's hundredths, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, tenths, ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. And you can go all the way up to millions. You can go up to any number, honestly. But this is what we're using right now. Okay, so if you need your place value chart to help you with this, that's fine. We're doing 1/10 plus 2 tenths equals 3 tenths. If I did 1/10 plus 2 tenths, then I have 3 tenths, right? Okay, let's try the next one. 14 tenths plus 9 tenths. Okay, well you should be able to add 14 and 9 in your head. But just in case you can't, 9 plus 4 is 13. Carry over the 1, it's 23. So now we have 23 tenths. Okay, so if I have 23 tenths, that's the same as saying, we're going to move this one over, 2 ones and 3 tenths. Okay, 2 ones and 3 tenths, which is the same as saying 2 and 3 tenths. All right. So if you need to do a lot of this little extra work, you can use your whiteboard, you can use your piece of paper, you can write along the margins. I don't care how messy your paper looks. All right, I just want you to know what you're doing. So 1/100 and 2/100 is 3/100. That was easy, 1 plus 2. And 3/100 is written like this. Okay, you remember that place value, 3/100. 27/100 plus 5/100. Well, let's see, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32/100. Yes, I just used my fingers. It's okay. 32/100 is the same as 3/10 and 2/100. And written in standard form, that would look like this, 32/100. Right, because the 3 is in the tenths and the 2 is in the hundredths. Next, 1,000th plus 2,000ths is 3,000ths, and 3,000ths is written like this, right? Because the 3 is in the thousandths place. This should all be review, right? These place values. Next, 35,000ths plus 8,000ths, just in case your adding is not up to snuff. That's a very old phrase, up to snuff. I'm not even sure what it means. It's an idiom. It basically just means if it's not where you want it to be, then you can use some space on the side here to add those numbers. 35 plus 8, right? So 5 plus 8 is, what is that? 13. Carry the 1. Now we've got 43. 43 thousandths, which is the same as 4/100 and 3,000ths, which is 0.043, 43 thousandths. Excellent. So this unit form is kind of coming in handy. When we see it in unit form, it doesn't seem so scary to add them together, does it? 6/10 plus 3 thousandths. 6/10 plus 3 thousandths. Well, what they've done is they've taken a problem like this and a problem like this, and they're going backwards. Okay, so all we have to do is 6/10 and 3 thousandths. Well, I can draw my place value chart if that helps. There's my ones. I have 6/10, right, and 3 thousandths. Now notice there's no hundredths in there. 6/10, 0/100, and 3 thousandths is the same as saying 600 and 3 thousandths, right? And if I wrote that out, I would use this. So be careful. 6/10 is here, 3 thousandths is there, and we can't leave that space in the middle, so we have to put the 0 in, okay? That's where that place value chart comes in handy. Next one, 7 ones and 2 tenths plus 4 tenths. All right, hang on. There's my place value. There's 7 ones and 2 tenths plus 4 tenths, so 4 tenths. Well, that's 7 ones and 6 tenths. That's like saying 76 tenths, right? 76 tenths, which is 7 and 6. Did you follow me on that one? I hope you did. Sometimes I worry that I'm not explaining things in a way that you're understanding. But, okay, let's keep going. 2 thousandths and 9 ones and 5 thousandths. All right, I'm definitely using my chart on this one. Okay, there's my ones. There's 9. And no tenths. No hundredths. Here I've got 2 thousandths plus 5 thousandths. So my new number here is going to be 7. So I've got 9 ones and 7 thousandths, which is the same as 9,007 thousandths. And that is a comma, not a decimal point, because there's 9,007 thousandths. That's hard to say. It's a weird word to say. But if we write it out in decimal form, it becomes that. Okay. Tricky. All right. So that was using word form. And I like word form because it kind of shows you it's not so scary. But let's use our standard algorithm. And that is how you all should have probably learned how to add. Maybe not everybody. But I'm going to put my 0 and my 3 here, my 3/10, and then I'm going to put my 82 hundredths underneath it. And notice what I did. I had to line up those decimals. That is the most important thing I want you to learn today. When you are adding and subtracting decimals, they need to go in a line because that is our places. So we have 0 in the ones. Let me go back to blue. And I want to start on the right and work my way left. So I'm going to go this way. And I don't have anything to add here, so I'm just going to add a 0, because remember, anything to the right of that decimal point, I can add zeros as long as I want. But it's easier in this one to add a 0 so I can see that they're in line and that I'm adding one on top of the other. So 0 plus 2 is 2. 8 plus 3 is 11. So the 11 goes here, and the 1 carries over to the next place. And then 1 plus 0 is 1. And now the big thing I want you to not forget is to put the decimal back in. Okay, it stays in that line, that yellow line. 1 and 12 hundredths. So this isn't so complicated. I don't want you to get scared by that decimal point. Okay? There's another way I used to teach this in our old math book too, where we would add it and then take out the decimal point and then add the decimal point back in. But I kind of like keeping the decimal point in better, so let's do it that way. Okay, so here's my yellow line. My decimals are in a row. Okay, so I start on the right and I work my way left. So I'm going this way. And the 3 plus the 8, 8, 9, 10, 11 is still 11, right? And the 1 comes over here to the next place over. 1 plus 0 is still 1. And then here I have 1 plus 0 is 1. So my answer is 1 and 11 hundredths. Okay, this isn't so hard. 7 and 3/10 plus 2 and 8/10. Again, I got to keep those decimal points in a line. 8 plus 3 is 11. Carry over the 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. So there's 10 is the 0, but then I have to carry over 1, and guess what? There's nothing there. So I can add 2 zeros if I want. Remember, I can add zeros on either side of the numbers. And then 1 plus 0 is still 1. And then make sure the decimal point goes back in there. Don't forget the decimal point. And my answer is 10 and 1/10. Okay, 57 and 3 hundredths plus 2 and 8 hundredths. 8, 9, 10, 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. Then I'm going to go to the next column. Put my decimal point in. 7 plus 2 is 9. Then my next column is 5. 59 and 11 hundredths. Here's what I'm going to look for in your homework. That those lines are lined up. That everything should I should be able to draw a grid over it. And everything should be perfectly in a line. Okay? That's your place value chart right there. I should be able to draw a place value chart over your numbers, because this is the hundredths, the tenths, the ones, and the tens. And if they don't fit in a perfect line, if you are writing your numbers like this, okay, how do I know what to add there? How do I know what to add, okay? I get a little confused, like, oh, does the 2 go with the 0, or does the 2 go with the 7? They need to be perfectly lined up, okay? So that is what I'm looking for on your papers. Can I say that again? It's really important that they line up because the tens place and the ones place and the tenths place and the hundredths place and the thousandths place all need to line up with the ones place and the tenths place and the hundredths place and the thousandths place in a perfect line. Okay, I should be able to draw a grid over what I just did, and everything's going to fit in my place value chart. Okay, then I can add 8 plus 3 is 11. Carry the 1 over to the hundredths place. 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10, so that's 0, and then I'm going to carry the 1 over to the tenths place. 5 plus 1 is 6, 7, 8, 9. Bring down that decimal. 2 plus 4 is 6, and then 6 here, and if I want to add a 0, I can. You don't need to. 6. Okay, so my answer is 66 and 901 thousandths. If you want to draw that grid over that while we're getting used to this, do it. Just as long as everything is in a line. 85 and 703 thousandths, and 12 and 197 thousandths. Now I have years of drawing things in straight lines. So if yours are looking wobbly, or if you somehow started this line here and then the next line you started over here, okay, I don't want crooked lines. Do you see how crooked that is? Because that gets confusing. I want nice straight up and down lines. So let's see. I've got 12 and 197 thousandths. And I've got 7, 8, 9, 10 here. I'm going to carry over the 1, 10, 8, 9. Then I've got my decimal point, 7, and 9. Wonderful. Okay, number 3, Van Cortlandt Park walking trail is 1 200 kilometers longer than Marine Park. So here's Marine Park. Central Park's walking trail is 242 thousandths kilometers longer than Van Cortlandt's. Okay, so let's see. Here's what we're doing. We're adding 1 28 hundredths to 1 2 hundredths to find out how much central. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, I added wrong. So what we're doing here is we're adding 1 28. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I can hear too much noise in the background. So I'm trying to concentrate. Let's see. Here's what I want to do. 1 28 hundredths. Van Cortlandt Park's walking trail is 1 200 kilometers longer than Marine Park's. Central Park's walking trail is 242 kilometers longer than Van Cortlandt's. Okay, so Van Cortlandt Park is longer than Marine Park, so we're adding this plus this. So 1 and 2, 0, 8, 1 and 2 is 10, 3, 2. Okay, so 8 plus 2 is 10, carried the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, and then 2. Okay, so our answer here is 2, 3, 0. Now this is a two-part problem, so let's find the other one. Central Park's walking trail is this much longer than Van Cortlandt's. So I'm going to take this same number from that answer and I'm going to add, remember I'm going to keep my decimals in a row, and I'm going to add a 0 here so that I can keep things in a row without getting confused. 0 plus 2 is 2, 0 plus 4 is 4, 3 plus 2 is 5, decimal 2. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. Now, if a tourist walked all 3 trails in a day, all 3 trails together, how many kilometers would he or she have walked? So we have to add all of these numbers together. 542 kilometers, 1 28 hundredths of kilometers, and 2 and 3/10 kilometers. And I'm just going to add the zeros so that I can keep everything in a nice row. And I wrote too big, so I'm going to write into this problem below, but please just ignore it. 2 plus 0 is 2. 4 plus 8 is 12, so that's 2, carry the 1. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So many 11s today. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So 6, and that decimal point stayed in the line, 122,000 kilometers. Don't forget your label. Number 4, Meyer has 64,000 now I have to erase that so I can see, right? Meyer has 64 thousandths of a gigabyte of space remaining on his iPod. He wants to download a pedometer app, which is 24 gigabytes, a photo app, which is 403 thousandths of a gigabyte, and a math app, which is 3 gigabytes. Which combination of apps can he download? So this is how much space he has, okay? Well, he could download one of any of them, right? Because he could download just that one, or just that one, or just that one. All of those numbers are smaller than this number, right? But if we add them all together, and I'm going to add those zeros in, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. He can't get all 3. He cannot. So that's not going to work, okay? So could he order the pedometer and the photo? Let's try that. Okay, 643, uh-oh. This is 640. So this number is bigger than 640. So that's too much. So he can't get the pedometer and the photo app. That's not going to work. And I can tell already that if he got the math app and the photo app, 307, well, that's bigger too, so that's not going to work. So he can't get all 3, he can't get those 2, and he can't get those 2. What about the 2 smallest ones? Could he get the math app and the pedometer app? Let's try that. 0, 2, 4 plus 0, 3, and then I'm going to add a 0 just to make it easier. 4, 5. That is, in fact, smaller than 64 hundredths. So yes, he could get the photo app. No, wait. Which one? Sorry, the pedometer app. Now remember what I said earlier in an earlier lesson? Pedometer, ped meaning feet, and meter meaning measure. So feet measure, that's how far you walked. Okay, so if you have your phone and you want to put a walking app, that would be a pedometer. Okay, and a math app, which you should all have, so you can practice your math at home. So he can put those 2. So Meyer can buy the pedometer and a math app, or just the photo app, because if he combines that with another one, it's going to be too much. Okay. All right, and then lesson 9 homework we'll do in class. And if you have any questions on lesson 9, that's just adding decimals, right? And then we did some unit form practice. Let me know in class, please, and use your place value chart if you need it. Have a great day.